An Australian dad has unleashed at his daughter's school after she was forced to apologise for the stolen generation. Now, I know some of you may not be aware of what the stolen generation is, but let me be absolutely clear. It was something that's absolutely horrific. And when we look back at it, we honestly cannot believe that it was something that actually happened. And it brings up something very, very important. Should we make people apologise for the horrific things that their ancestors did? Should young people feel guilty for things that happened long ago? Well, I think the answer's pretty obvious, but apparently there's a lot of people out there that don't think that way, that think that young people should apologise for things that they didn't do, or their grandparents didn't do, or their great-grandparents didn't do. It's a very, very sad way to live as a society where one group is walking on eggshells because they're terrified of offending another group. It's not helpful at all. If you don't know anything about the stolen generation, I'll assume you're not from Australia, because here in this country, all the way up into the 1970s, Aboriginal children were being stolen, kidnapped from their families because the government felt that they would be better off with white families. Aboriginal kids forcibly removed from where they lived and taken somewhere else. Could you imagine something so horrific? Families destroyed, a culture fractured, a wound that will probably never heal in this country. Now, as a comedian, I've made jokes about the stolen generation before. And you may think, hey, well, how can you make jokes about something and then say it's a serious issue and horrific? Well, that's what I do. That's what I enjoy doing. I make jokes all the time about the most horrific events in history. And it's not because I believe that they're funny, but I find the humour in the most horrific cases. But that's not important for this video. The reason this is in the news at the moment is because of this guy, Chris Primrod. Primrod. He criticised a school that his 7-year-old daughter attends after she told him that her classmates were required to make a group apology.
My 7-year-old daughter came home today and she told me that her and her classmates had to participate in a group apology to the stolen generation. Now, I have no problem with any of my children learning about it. That's completely fine. What I won't tolerate and what I won't accept is any of my children being forced to apologise for something that they had absolutely nothing to do with.
Now, this was held on National Sorry Day, a day in Australia where we all say sorry for the things that we didn't do. It was implemented a decade or so ago by the federal government, and it was basically there to help them win an election. It didn't actually achieve anything. It hasn't done anything. It doesn't do anything. Chris went on to say that he has no problem with his children learning about the stolen generation. He said that's completely fine. But what he won't tolerate and what he won't accept is that his children being forced to apologise for something they had absolutely nothing to do with. Now, Chris was obviously met with a lot of people disagreeing with what he had to say, but also a lot of people agreeing. And this is the divide that we have in our country. Who should feel responsible? Who should feel bad? That's the question. Personally, I think, how can you disagree with what he's saying on this subject? None of us should have to apologise for things that people who we are slightly related to did 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years ago. And why do fucking 7-year-olds apologise for this? That's madness. I'll tell you why they have to apologise. It's because they're white. They share one thing in common with the people who did these atrocities: skin colour. And we still focus so much on that. It's very, very unfortunate. So should we apologise for the acts of people that look like us? Should a random Indigenous person, Aboriginal person, Islander person, a Kiwi, an American, should they apologise for things that people who look like them have done? No, of course not. And it also teaches kids, well, it teaches them a couple of horrible lessons. Number one, you should feel guilty for things that you didn't do. That's terrible. But also apologising for things that you're not sorry for. What a shit lesson. Doing something just because someone tells you to do it. Apologising just because it makes you virtuous. That's terrible. Children all over the Western world are exposed to this culture of wokeness, and it is only hurting us. It is making us weaker. It is turning us into this ridiculous society who just does things because we're told to, because our society demands that we have to do it to look like we care. When in reality, they don't care at all. They don't even know what they're talking about. It's important to learn about things that have happened in the past and learn from them and make sure they never happen again. But apologising for them? That achieves nothing. And we see it everywhere, in schools, in universities. But I'll tell you where we don't see it. in movies. What a fucking amazing segue. Because know this, replacing white characters in movies just because they're white is not woke at all. It's not woke. That's not woke. It's not woke to replace people just because they're white. This is according to Asir Ifikatkar. Great enunciation, I think. Why is Disney only woke when women of colour lead? Over the past year, accusations of Disney's political pandering have skyrocketed following Hale Bailey's turn as Ariel in the live-action Little Mermaid. In brackets, a role that's inspired young black women everywhere. I'm sure it did. Inspired them to grow tails and swim in the ocean. And a Latin American actor, Rachel Zelliger's casting as Snow White. What should have been a non-issue blew up into a fiery social media storm with the right wing's favourite buzzword, woke, being tossed around like candy. So you're arguing that Disney changing characters based purely on the colour of their skin isn't woke at all. Okay, sure. The woke agenda that people are taking issue with no longer exists when Disney's films centre white male leads who experience their own particular set of problems. But they magically appear as soon as women, especially women of colour, step into the same roles. People only take issue with it when you take an already existing film and change someone based purely on the colour of their skin or their gender. That's the only reason you've changed them. That's when they have the issue. Because you're doing it because you're trying to look progressive. That's it. That's the only reason you're doing it. That's all. That's the only fucking reason. Would Disney have got the same backlash if white women continued to play Ariel or Snow White? No. And they wouldn't have got any backlash if they made a new film with all different women of colour everywhere. Every colour of the rainbow everywhere. It's just because it's the same story and you've replaced someone just because of the colour of their skin. That's the only reason you've done it. That's the only reason that anyone has an issue at all. Would you, lady who wrote this, have an issue if there was a black character in a particular movie who was replaced in a new live-action remake with some white dude? You probably would. I guarantee you would. Disney aren't doing this because they're nice people. They're doing this to appease the fucking vocal minority of blue-haired fucking virgins who carry on like cockheads on the internet. It seems the only time Disney films are accused of pushing a political agenda is when they have any semblance of diverse casting at the forefront of the movie. Oh, God. We're talking about remakes here, mate. Right? If you want diversity, look at Aladdin. Everyone's fucking diverse in Aladdin. If they remade that and everyone looked like they were fucking from Chicago, people would have issues. On Aladdin, she has this to say. The live-action Aladdin was rightfully criticised for fetishizing Middle Eastern culture. You cannot win with these fucking people. And as opposed to what critics would have you believe, there is still only a handful of TV shows and films that are truly centred around marginalised groups in society. We are yet to even have our first openly LGBTQ+ Disney prince or princess after years of pleading. Yes, please, get a trans stepmother involved in Snow White fucking now. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who has the hairiest pussy of them all? Why do you need an LGBTQIA+ fucking prince? You just write a good story. God, why has sexuality... These are kids shows, you fucking idiots. Know this. The only reason Disney make these types of films and make these changes is the same reason that teachers are making children apologise for things they didn't do. Is because they've been indoctrinated into this woke ideology, this progressive ideology, where everyone who's white, and if you're cis it makes you even worse, and cis means straight, and I'll use that word because it's a fucking buzzword. We are in this world right now where anyone who fits those two criteria, and fucking God help you if you're male as well, if you fit those criteria, then you're a bad person. You don't belong in films. You should be apologising. You have done bad things over the past few centuries. Bad, 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 and you need to make up for it. Which of course is fucking Can I say bleep? Ladies and gents, let me know what you think about all this in the comment section down below. Be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East. Be dick stinks. Toodaloo au revoir. Bye-bye.